Okay, so I would like to present a restoration project that we're working on in the moment. It's a film from the 60s, German production. And fortunately, we still have the original camera negative, which is always a good news for us because it's defined as being the best quality we could possibly have. And when I found it, I was very happy about this and very quickly put it on the Quadriga INSPECTIONscan and hoped that I could use this as the main element. But after reviewing the files, we saw, and also when seeing the element on the table, I could see that there were so many damages that it would have probably been difficult to use this element in the workflow because the restoration and the retouch would need to put so much effort in this that I need to eventually rethink this. I could find in the same collection where the original camera negative was duplicate positive, which is the element we now have on the Quadriga, and where you can actually see the frame there, which is of course one generation later, so a bit lesser quality. But when I inspected this element, I could at first, already on the table, already on the Quadriga, see that it hardly had any damages, so which was really good news. And then there was this important element in our workflow at the archive, so before we go to the lab, where we're actually comparing the element frame by frame, not only with meters, the way it has sometimes been done before, or with a synchronizer, which is what you can see behind me, which we were using before we bought the Quadriga. And this is, it took a lot more effort. It took me a week to actually compare elements, while it's here much quicker. And with the comparison of both duplicate positive and the original camera negative, I could see that the dupe positive was, as I thought, a really good quality, but also that no frame was missing. While in the original camera negative, there are not only tears and dirt and damages, but also quite a lot of missing frames. And with DaVinci Resolve, I exactly could put one element above the other, also put an additional positive print to see if we have big differences in contrast or in the grain, and to just have for me a way to prepare myself before going to the lab and exactly tell them how we want to digitize the film. And so once I had all the three elements digitized with the Quadriga, I could compare them exactly frame by frame in the DaVinci Resolve, we will see in a few minutes. Here you can see all three elements which were scanned with the Quadriga, put on one timeline for the first reel. We have here the original camera negative I mentioned, positive print from our collection, and the dupe positive, which is now our hope for the restoration project, put on top of each other. I've been able to compare all the elements. We can see some holes where where frames are actually missing. We have here an example of several frames missing in the original negative, which is on the left of my screens here. And on the right, we have this dupe positive, where we can see that the frames are not missing. And I would also like to show the damage we could actually see on the element, on the Quadriga, and which is not to be found on the dupe positive here. And so our hope is, of course, to use this dupe positive probably and not to have to repair this. And through the detail comparison, we can always jump very rapidly through the different images, where I put red markers to actually see how much we would probably need to do in the retouch in the later workflow with the lab. And what we have very often been doing is that this workflow enables us to be much quicker in our communication with the lab, as we are sending them edit decision lists and they are sending us edit decision lists that we can apply to our timelines.